Hey guys, what's up? So today I thought I would do a technical analysis since you guys seem to like me reviewing my own videos. Which thank you for that, by the way, for seeing the watching the videos and commenting. Really appreciated. So I thought I would do analysis on actually definitely my furthest discus throw caught on video. This is a 54-meter discus throw, like 54.28, I think is what I measured. This is just in practice. This isn't at a meet. Uh, I didn't perform very well in meets in discus. I tend to rush positions and had really far warm ups and got too excited. And by the time I figured that out, I was more of a shot main my last year than a disc main. So, sadly, I couldn't ever replicate this really. But, in practice, I was really good. And I know that's not really saying that much, but I thought it'd still be valuable. Oops. So, let's just watch this a couple times. So, to give you some context behind this throw, I think this throw was early in the morning. I think I had like a 8 a.m. session, so which I tend to throw better in the morning anyway, because I'm more of a morning person. And this was right before COVID hit, so I was entering my junior year. All right, so I got, let's see. Yeah, so this would have been my 2019-2020 season before COVID hit. And this, I think, was closer to season. I think this was maybe around December, I think, something like that. It was definitely in the winter. You could probably just tell by the weather. But to give you some context, this is probably the best shape I ever was in. The best I was at discus at any point in my career ever. I was just in tune. I had timing down. I had finishing down. I felt ready. I felt so ready. I thought that would be the year that I would finally break over 50 in comp. And sadly, COVID hit, so I didn't get that chance. But I felt so confident. I mean, my practice, like I didn't have bad. I did have bad releases sometimes, but for the most part, my releases were solid. I was hitting, even on my bad days, I was still hitting like 49 to 50 meters. And, it was just very sad that I didn't get the chance. And a lot of athletes didn't get the chance to compete in 2020. So, yeah, that was very sad. But, it was heartbreaking for me when we got the news that our season was canceled. So, because, I felt like this was going to be the year for me to really break out in discus, and sadly didn't get the chance. So I was around like 225, 230 pounds here, but I was in the best shape of my life in terms of conditioning and just speed and just overall rhythm and timing in discus. I finally found a technique that I really, really liked. Unfortunately, it didn't really work for me when I gained a lot more weight my senior year. And, my junior year. The thing is, like, this technique for me, if I hit it right, it went super far. But in competition, when I went too fast with this technique, I would just palm the discus and just pancake it, and it would just go straight up in the air and not go anywhere. So, let that be a lesson to you guys, in comp. Don't go faster than what you do in practice, all right? As a safe bet, because the adrenaline will just make you go faster, and if you yourself try and go faster with the adrenaline, you're just going to miss positions, and you're not going to throw far, all right? So take it from me, as a chronic user of that, it didn't work, all right? It just did not work, which is why I was a lot better at shot put and hammer in terms of competing. Because I slowed down, because especially at these points in my career, I didn't really care about shot put or hammer. I just really wanted to throw discus. So let that be a lesson to you guys if you have trouble throwing in meets. That might be a reason why, is because you're just going too fast for you to handle that speeds you've never thrown before, which is also why underweight implements are good to use as well to train that. But, But this was definitely the best shape. Like I was throwing my Denfi tools like over 60 at least. Like I was bombing those. Oh my god. I really wish I got the chance to compete. I know like I wasn't as strong, but as I am now or post collegiate, not nearly. Um let's see. I think I was squatting around like 380 at the time, benching like I don't know if I benched 3 plates. I might have benched 315 at this point, maybe. My overhead strength was always good though. My overhead strength, I think I still was like split jerking uh close to 3 plates, and yeah, push pressing like 225 for like 5 reps, rather really fast as well. So my overhead strength was good, but I think the reason why I threw this far at this point is because I just had my timing. I had a very comfortable, repeatable technique for me, if I actually didn't rush everything. And I think it's more the rhythm, the timing, the acceleration, and just more the patience on the finish. I had a really bad problem. Um, More apparent in shot put, but in discus as well, of rushing the reverse and really yanking my left side, which, is a very common problem. But in this throw in particular, I think is probably my best timing I ever had on my finish ever, which is, one of the reasons it went 54. So, yeah, so, just to give you some context of where I was at in training. So, yeah, yeah, this was before COVID hit, so I think this was still 2019, but late 2019, going into my 2020 season, so definitely like the best shape I've really ever been in, cardio wise and, athletic wise. I mean, I was not a monster, but compared to usual, I mean, I was definitely a lot faster back then than I am now. Mostly because, I'm 270 now, and right here I'm like 230. So, it's quite a big difference in weight. But, yeah. So, let's get into this technique. So, one of the big things I changed was I didn't wind so far back. So I really tried to mimic I tried to like combine like Guru Cantor and like Ishan Haddadi with like the rhythm and style of a Haddadi with like the separation of a Cantor. Because my freshman and my sophomore year, I tried to replicate, like Virgilius Elecna, and I just didn't have the strength to be able to hold wind that far back, and I would just have a chronic problem of just throwing down this sector, not finishing. Like my hips would finish and my discus would still be like back here. It was just terrible. Like I would always just throw into this net over here. It was just a big problem I had. Suddenly, it was really just a strength thing because that's how I threw in high school, and I could get away with that in high school because it's a 1.6 compared to a 2K, and I just didn't have the strength. But winding not as far back, but still getting a little bit of stretch was very nice for me. And I think just a very nice, comfortable wind. My hips under me, just very relaxed. And then here, I think I did a really good job at getting over my left. Over here, my hip kind of dipped a little bit, but it's not terrible. I think one of the big things that really helped me during this time was the fact that I just kept so separated, but in really good ways. But so I wasn't too separated. Like my right foot's still on the ground even here, which is really good. And like my left foot, by the time my right picks up, if this will move, is like around here somewhere. So I kept a lot of separation in my hips. And then right here, I think my timing was really good here. So I really like this position, so I was just super relaxed right here. I don't like how I rose a little bit here, but what I do like is a big thing that I really used to do and really used to focus on is just getting across the ring as fast as humanly possible with this left foot. So I think that's one of the big things that really helped me. So my hips aren't quite under me, but I think it's just the speed and momentum of this throw that really carried it. And then the patience on the finish and just really hitting it. And also the fact that I held the chest pretty well here as well really helped me. So pretty good touchdown there. Don't like the heel drop. That was one of the big things that held me back as well. Back in my days of throwing far and discus was this heel drop. But one of the big differences is my catch position compared to when I usually when I usually drop my heel. Is my catch would be like here, but in this throw I was back here, and I had the patience to actually, finish the discus instead of just jump in the air, which I was very bad at doing a lot. So I think I did a pretty good job here, in my opinion. And then I wish I worked the ground a little more, but I would just threw differently here. And I think one of the other reasons I also threw pretty far here is because my block was really nice here too. And I think I did really nice of working out over the ring and over my block. So I think that was one of the big differences here. And usually I never really held that good of a block, but I don't know what was going on. This whole practice for me was actually, I wish I recorded more throws from this practice, because this practice, just like the other video I made in shot put, was probably the best discus practice I've ever had in terms of distances. Just I just couldn't throw under 50 meters. It was crazy. It was a wild practice. I loved it. But not too much to say about this throw. Like, it's just a throw that relies so much on timing and momentum, which I could get away with because I was just so fast in the ring, and I just was super patient on the finish on this particular throw. So, good for me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it was one of the seasons I just didn't actually have any injuries. I think I was just perfectly healthy too. So I didn't have like any niggles or like any just like little knick-knack injuries. Like, I was sore, obviously, from lifting and stuff, but like, like my joints didn't really hurt, like this is before my arthritis kicked in and all that. So like, I was just perfectly healthy. I was young, just ready to throw far, coming back with a vengeance. I just got a new coach this season too, so that helped a lot for me as well. And I had some good people around me. Shout out to Corey Gilbert for really helping me in discus. So he really helped me a lot. He was a 56-meter discus thrower, and I think, he's still the school record holder at Cal State Fullerton. That might be broken soon though, with the guys they got over there. But so he really helped me. One of the biggest things that someone has ever said to me came from him, and he's like, because my whole life people are like, oh, you have really good technique and stuff, and he was the first person to ever be like, you don't have good technique. And at first I took that as an insult, but when he actually explained to me, it made a lot of sense, because he said, basically, like, yeah, your throw looks really pretty, but it doesn't go anywhere. Like, you don't actually produce power. And he's the one that really taught me, how to actually like put power into the implement, and that just changed my whole world. Like, changed my whole throwing world, so he taught me, how to actually sweep, and actually, because before I would just, sprint out the back and not do anything with my right side out the back and in the middle. So he helped me a lot with that. So that added a whole new other phase of my lifting. I'm sorry, whole new other phase to my throw, and just made me a lot more powerful out the back. Just being a lot more active with both sides of my body instead of just my left. It really helped me with actually not pulling, because I wasn't so active with my left. He's the one that actually suggested that I don't wind that far as well, which also saved me a lot. He's the one that taught me how to hip curl in the middle. He's the one that taught me, patience and actually working the ground and actually working the hip and, not being too separated. He's the one that taught me connection in discus. So, I mean, I owe a lot to him. So, if you're out there, I don't know if you watch my videos, but last I heard he was coaching. So, if the athletes that he's coaching, they're in good hands, because he really helped me in my career. And I wouldn't have been the discus thrower that I was without him. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I ever told you that, Corey, but, thanks a lot, Corey. Like, honestly, thanks a lot. And again, like, this throw isn't, like, perfect technically, but, I also, sometimes, like, once a week, I used to just take practices just for vibes, just throwing, just get my mind off technique and just throw. And those were usually my best practices ever. That, and basically just feeling positions. So I think that's what really helped me a lot in this throw, is just feeling positions, just let the throw flow. And, I think that's what really helped me in this throw. So again, like, yeah, obviously, like, my hip, like, went back, like, my hips aren't that under me, but oops, I did not mean to do that. But I was pretty over my left, so that helped. I rose a little bit too much here. I probably have too much air time. I could have swept a little more down. My heel could have been slightly higher, slightly stiffer here, with my right ankle. And, that would have helped me a lot more. But, I still pushed against the ground relatively well. I still turned my hip. I was crazy separated here. So really good here. And I did a really good job of working over the block. So compared to a lot of the throws I used to have, this throw wasn't that jumpy for me, at least. So, but yeah. So overall, like, this was just a vibes throw. And I wish I could have replicated this throw in comp. I think in competition, I think that would have really, it's still one of the biggest regrets in my entire career that I wasn't able to PR outside of my freshman year. And I ended my career with a comp PR of like 47-14, which I just knew through all my 5 years, or the 4 years after that. It was just sad that I never got to throw that far. I did in warm-ups, but, who cares about warm-ups? But, it was just such a shame that I learned how to compete, like actually compete my freshman year, my senior year, after I took a sports psych class, and, and I was a lot more consistent on like 46 meters, but I just never hit that 50 meter that I always did in practice. So, it was tough, and it's still tough, and it'll probably always be tough for me that I never was able to hit that. And then, I injured my hand, so it's not like I can do anything about it now. So, it's tough. It's one of the biggest regrets, and it's just something I have to live with. But, whatever. I didn't mean for this to be a sad video. But, yeah, so, big shout out to Corey Gilbert. Really helped me in my throwing career. And just one of the people, one of the more veteran people on my team that really helped me through my career when some of my coaches didn't or weren't able to. So yeah. Other than that, again, like, this wasn't the most technical video. Like, this was just a pure, like, vibes throw. So, oh, sorry, I didn't even do the patience thing. So, let me do the slow-mo. Let me just skip ahead. So if you notice this slight pause I have, right, oh, well, okay, hold on. Right here, you see that, like, slight delay? I think that's a very important thing, is I waited until I had weight on my left foot before I actually came to throw. I did this a lot, and I see a lot of other people do this, is they just wait for this left foot to kind of just touch down. So they wait until, like, this part, and then they try and reverse. But I took that extra second to wait until I had weight on my left foot, so until my heel was down, to actually work it, so I had a more stable position and a more stable block and something to push against. So for my right side to push against to really accelerate the discus and keep a stronger block. So I think that's what really saved this throw for me. But yeah, so that's also a good thing, is just to watch out for, is you see this a lot in a lot of elite people, and I'm not calling myself an elite discus thrower by no means, but you just see this a lot, is that one of the things that separates them is that they have the patience, and they wait for them to they have the timing perfect where they don't wait too long, because you don't want to wait too long. You just want to feel that little slight delay, all right, to just get a little bit more weight on that left before you shift onto it, before you rotate and turn into your block. All right. So other than that, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any video suggestions for me, if you want me to analyze a specific thrower or do more videos of me, or whatever. I don't want to sound like egotistical or anything by just reviewing my own videos. I just think it's like a learning thing, because I've been through a lot in my career that I think are very common problems, so that a lot of throwers have. And me being a lot older than I was in here, I wish I knew all the things I knew now. Back then, I think I would have definitely been I could guarantee I would have been a 50+ meter discus thrower in competition if I knew the things I knew now about competing and just about the throw in general. But can't change the past, so whatever. I just have to live with me being a practice hero. So whatever. But other than that, thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a good day. See y'all later.